Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. We're back to talk more Doctor Who. We are at the season finale of season 8. It's episode 12. It's called Death in Heaven. And, alright, so as everybody that watches these, and to anybody that's new, this season is my first season of Doctor Who. My first real full season of Doctor Who. I've watched like a couple of the Christopher Eccleston ones and that's it. And so a lot of times I am completely lost. But I'm fumbling through, I'm figuring things out, I'm getting a lot of help and feedback from everybody that does watch it. And I want to thank you guys for that. So I've loved the 8th season. I've loved my first foray into Doctor Who. I think Peter Capaldi is a great actor. He's a great choice for... I don't know if I should say he's a great choice. He's the only Doctor I really know. You know, I know the actors that have played Doctor Who, but as far as my first full experience with Doctor Who, I loved Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. I think every episode has been... a little delight to varying degrees of a great experience. Each one is so unique and cerebral, and they make me think, and so imaginative. And we got the penultimate episode done, and I thought that was pretty good. I thought it was really, really well, imagined. So we get to this, and I just this is probably my least favorite episode in a lot of ways. It felt to me like, what if Hollywood decided to step in and make a Doctor Who episode? It felt like they went full on like action blockbuster in this episode, and while there's still a lot of imagination and there's some thought in this, and you've got to it has some interesting elements to it. It just felt really big, but not in a good way. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. Some of the things that are happening in here, I just was kind of some of the acting was really over the top, especially with Missy's character, the Master. I felt like she becomes kind of a cartoon character in this, and even the beginning of this episode I felt was a bit of a cartoon, because I love Jetta Coleman, but her whole thing at the beginning of this episode where she pulls like a Bugs Bunny, and that's where I say where a character like will go up to a bad guy, like say Elmer Fudd, and put like the mental whammy on him. Like saying duck season, wabbit season. And I'm sorry, this hair is going to drive me crazy. And but in this case, she's like, tells the robot, I'm not Clara. You are Clara. No, I'm not. I made her up. And she just does this, these great big Cybermen robots, I would think, they're robots. They only know certain things, and so she tries to fool them with a logic thing, or you can't prove I'm Clara, so you can't kill me, and oh hey, by the way, I'm the Doctor. And it just felt a little silly, a little cartoony, like if she put on like a suit and suddenly said dressed as a man or something, you know what I mean? Like just a very, I don't know. I thought that was so weird. Because this show is usually really smart and doesn't reduce itself to just, you're Clara. We've looked you up. We know who you are. No, I'm not. like she's Donald Trump all of a sudden. Just the facts are this: you're Clara. No, I'm not. But you're Clara. No, I'm not. That kind of thing. Like I just denying the truth to a thing that knows the truth. I don't know. So. I know what she's doing. I mean, I know why she's doing it. She's just trying to stay alive, right? But it just didn't seem like something that would work. And I'm sorry, I'm going to stop talking about it now. But Kate Stewart, so all these Cybermen are outside, and Missy seems to have the upper hand, and Kate Stewart arrives all of a sudden. It's like they run this flip on Missy, and they got her, right? But really, it's just all still playing into Missy's hands, and all the robots take off to places all over London, and apparently Cybermen are all over the world. One for every city. And what they're going to do is they're going to blow up, and when it rains, they're going to go into the graves, pollinate the dead, and then the rain will turn people into Cybermen, and the whole world will be conquered. Okay. So they also said the dead are coming back, but the human race will be ending. So basically, everybody that's ever died will turn into a robot, and then after that, there's going to be another thing that turns everyone into Cybermen. And then the Doctor becomes president of Earth. And I just was like, what? Why is this, it just seems like a little too broad and a little too, I don't know. I feel like as soon as we had started involving, the rest of the world in this, and other people like Kate Stewart and everything, it just got too much. It got too big, and other people getting involved and making him the president. When, he does nothing. He just sits there in the chair, and they're flying, trying to figure things out. Meanwhile, they've got Missy locked up, and it's like when the Avengers captured Loki. It's like exactly where she wanted to be. This whole thing is just basically giving Missy what she wants. It's all big game to her. And while, we've seen that a bunch of times, like I said, the character purposely getting caught. She clearly could have done anything she wanted at the beginning of this episode, but she chose to be taken. She could have had the Cybermen just blow everybody away. Well, we find out, so Clara keeps lying to try to stay alive, and all of a sudden, one of the Cybermen comes up and shocks her and then kills all the other ones. Right before this, the water, is happening right here, gets into the ground, goes all over the place, and the morgue was Danny Pink. And it turns out, when she wakes up in the graveyard, one of the Cybermen that's wandering around the graveyard is Danny Pink. The guy, Chris Addison, is saying up in the cloud, literally an information cloud, which is a nice touch, that we're all going back, and that we're coming back but wrong. We're going to come back as with an upgrade, and that's what happens, is Danny comes back as a Cyberman, and that's terrible. I don't mean terrible it's a bad idea. For poor Danny, he's already dead. He's a Cyberman, and he's lost Clara already, basically, to the Doctor, in his opinion. In his mind, he can never compete with the Doctor. And now he's a dead man in a robot suit. Where else can you go with this poor guy? He was a soldier. He's given, bravery and everything, and Clara has lied to him over and over and over again. She loves him, but she always puts the Doctor first, And so it's just a sad way for this character to go. I have to give that up to them, at least. I didn't see that coming. That this was going to all end for Danny. I thought it was already bad enough that he died. But that they'd bring him back, that was the whole point of this, is, because you'll feel like what they set up earlier in the show, that Danny and her were going to end up together and have kids. They met his grandson or whatever, great-great-grandson or some crap, and so seeing it all go down like this is a major, what? So it's all really sad. The whole thing where Missy kills Osgood, kind of like the guy that she killed earlier, I'm going to kill you, you don't know. And it's just, this lady's a great actress, and she's been sneaky up till now, but now she's a cartoon. Again, like I said, a lot of this is very cartoonish, and she's just she had gotten out of her cuffs, and she's got this little thing that just disintegrates people. And when she knew, when the Dr. Osgood pulls the cuffs out and she starts applying lipstick, the guards are standing there doing nothing. What? Why? Why did they just stand there and allow themselves to get killed? Everybody just dies. She gets all sneaky and villainy, and it felt like the Joker. She felt like she was the Joker, making like a really elaborate, over-the-top escape. And getting up in the person's face and being all super creepy about it. But at the same time being, like that way that we like the Joker character to be. Like that so bad we can't help but love it in a way. That's what I felt like here. And then she starts kind of just, I don't know. It's a little much for a show that doesn't usually get like this. As silly as everything can be as far as stories, as broad as the imagination can take you, it never feels stupid. I'm not saying, and I shouldn't, maybe stupid's too strong a word, but it's never felt silly. Like straight up, just like, what is this? What am I watching? So, like I said, I wrote down, this is a little preposterous. Danny Pink inside the Cyberman is a Cyberman. Missy, okay, so we do get one bit of interesting, is that Missy's been the one keeping Clara and the Doctor together. In fact, it seems like she set up their meeting, their initial meeting when the Doctor was Matt Smith. So that's an interesting detail. But by hearing that, I already went, oh, so this is going to be their last adventure. Because it feels like when you put that kind of stamp on it, like the reason they've been together this long is because of the machinations of Missy keeping it that way. That they would have gone their separate ways a while ago if things hadn't gone that way. Like, and you could see, if you remember other episodes earlier in the season, Missy taking people to heaven. That's part of this, right? So you can tell then that whatever happens by the end of this, it's over for Clara and the Doctor, which is sad to me because this is, Claire is my first companion all the way through, and this is my first Doctor, and I like their interaction with each other. I kind of like their need for each other. This kind of like, I don't know, like I had the word there in a minute ago, but it's gone. So Missy then, so Danny wants Clara to turn off his inhibitor so that he can stop feeling emotion. But if he stops feeling emotion, he'll kill her. But will he? It's like that thing where like all of a sudden that character won't, like if he's a Cyberman and he will never not be Danny Pink, why are we so sure that logically he would kill her? But because he's Danny Pink, he won't. But he won't be Danny Pink anymore. He'll be a Cyberman. So it's just like the script is like kind of ignoring its rules, or the universe's rules, because their love is so strong. It goes beyond the fact that it's not really him anymore. And if you guys hate me for this, I'm just calling it like I see it. I did, Missy drops Kate Stewart out of the plane, which I was just like, yeah, well, we don't see her land, so no body, no death. Boom. That proves to be correct as well. And you know what things are the things that are this predictable are bad action movies. Danny tries to prove to Clara that the Doctor, they've had, the Doctor and Danny have had their own issues, and he's trying to prove he's right by making the Doctor choose like something that the Doctor would always choose. And he sees that and he refuses, and then Clara takes it, and then Danny still goes, oh, you can't get your hands dirty, can you? Like, you're going to use her. But she's the one who took the screwdriver, man. He was not going to give in to what you were saying, but she's doing it because she knows, I guess, it needs to be done. And then Mary Poppins arrives. She literally comes down with an umbrella, and she's like, I got a gift for you. She gives the Doctor the Cyberman army because she thinks he's always wanted an army, and what she really wants is her friend back. And while I understand, and it's also his birthday. This whole thing was like a birthday present. Like the most elaborate setup for a birthday and a birthday present ever. And the whole thing is like, we're not so different, you and me cliche is thrown out here. So, I don't know. But then I like that she's like, no, you've always wanted an army. You know, you're not a good man. And he starts thinking about things and he realizes, you're right. You're right. Thank you. Thank you so much, because I've been wondering this about myself, is that I'm not a good man. I'm also not a bad man. I'm just an idiot with a box who goes around and discovers things and learns things, and I like that part. I really did. Like him not giving in, like he didn't give in to Danny. And so he tosses Danny the controls to the Cybermen. You know, the thing that you don't see coming. And that he then gives this very unnecessary speech. Danny's Cyberman is like, I'm the soldier, this is my... And it's like, I guess they wanted to give him a send-off, but like it just feels like monologuing. Like, just fly off and do your thing, man. Like, why do we need this speech? Why do we have to have this overly emotional thing that feels like it would be in a movie like fucking Armageddon, where Bruce Willis gets to say his final goodbyes to Liv Tyler, you know, like, while the rest of the world's about to blow up, you know? I don't know. I don't like this. Like, this big, huge, gigantic, universal... They've had world-ending stories. Every episode's practically an apocalypse. This is the first time it really felt like somebody else took over this show and it didn't feel like Doctor Who in a lot of ways. Oh, and then Kate's alive. So she's just laying there. Oh, I guess a Cyberman controlled by Danny picked her up, flew up and grabbed her. But this was before she was falling for... Like, how long was she falling for? Again, to quote Loki, you know, like, how long was I falling for, you know? when he fell through the thing in Infinity War. And then, is Missy dead? He was for Clara. He's like, all right, I just want it. I don't want you to do it. I don't want this on your conscience. I'll kill her. Then he goes to do it, but every time she did it, the people kind of turned orange and like kind of ashy or like fire. She turned blue. Now, is that because she's a Time Lord, or is it because that Danny did it? But if Danny did it and shot her, he shot her with his gun, but it didn't look like she got shot with anything. She just looks like she turned blue and poofed. So is she, like, does that mean that they're trying to leave the door open for that way? Did she just get teleported somewhere? Is this just another way to get the villain around so that we think they're dead? And then Danny, you know, at the end of this, so Danny takes all the Cybermen and they leave. And it's all pretty much resolved. But then Danny can come through this portal. Clara is saying, you can come through. He's like, I can only send one person through. She's like, well, then you come through. And Danny being Danny, or the story being the story, he sends the kid that died through because it was something that, you know, and that is totally a Danny Pig thing, I guess, to do. But, like, I mean... Would anybody ever remembered that the kid was there if Danny just came through and just given the audience what they wanted? But then at the same time, I kind of feel like it's ballsy and more like they stayed true to the character in this respect so that it has a more effective ending to the episode, which it does. This ending has a very, I do like it. And by the ending, I mean the end. So they, you know, Missy had said that she knew where Gallifrey was. The Doctor's homeworld. Duh, to anybody who somehow is as lost as I am about most things. So she gives him the coordinates before she dies. And he and Clara meet 2 weeks after the events of this. And she says, oh, me and Danny are fine. Because he assumes everything is fine. He assumes that Danny came back through the time wormhole And she doesn't correct him. She lets him believe that Danny and her are fine and that this is all over. Like they've accepted it without even accepting it. They haven't even said goodbye, really. They just kind of say, oh, well, you know, I'm going to be off doing my thing. You're going to be here with Danny. Basically, you know, maybe someday we'll see each other. We'll be friends, not, you know. And he says, yeah, Gallifrey, she wasn't lying. She actually told the truth, that it was there. And he goes and opens up the TARDIS where the coordinates were, and it's not there. And he loses his shit and busts up to the thing. And so it was a lie. So they're both telling each other lies as they separate. And that's heartbreaking. Because she goes her way and he goes his, and neither one of them knows the truth about the other. And they give the idea of a hug. And I love what he says about hugs. Never trust a hug. It's just another way to hide your face. So, I mean, we have this, like, strong, powerful, emotional ending that ends with lies. And people not telling each other the truth. And I love that. And then I even love, at the very end, you get this little hopeful moment of that Santa Claus is a Time Lord. He's a real person and he's a Time Lord. And he's played by Nick Frost. So, great ending. I love Nick Frost. And for anybody that doesn't think that I know how to find the Christmas specials, we will be doing the Christmas special next instead of jumping into season 9 first. I mean, so we'll be doing season 9. We're going to do the Christmas special first. And I'm like, they had such a great ending to this. What happened to everything else? It feels like it was all set up at the end for more stuff. But the beginning, middle, and almost end were just, I just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. It felt way too big. And it felt like Hollywood stepped in here. Like they were trying to make a big action movie. And it just didn't work because they used bad action cliches, bad action writing, and mixing it in with really smart Doctor Who stuff. And I just don't feel like the two mix very well. So while I didn't hate it, I just thought, this doesn't feel like Doctor Who to me. This feels like, you know, when people say, that doesn't feel like Star Wars, you know, to the new stuff anymore. That's what I kind of felt like about this. Like, I felt like everything leading up to this finale was awesome. And then they just went some other direction. It's like if The Handmaid's Tale just turned into a sitcom all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Where they just went by sitcom rules. I don't know. And so that's it. That's Death in Heaven. If you happen to like this review, please hit the like button. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Probably going to lose some after people watch this. I don't know. But, I mean, like I said, I still liked it enough to, like, I liked the ending enough to keep going. I wasn't going to stop despite how I felt about this. But I got to just be honest about my feelings about it. And I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but if you do, leave it in the comment section. And if you don't, please explain to me why, you know, this was great, in your opinion. So, anyway, this is Robin Smirking in Review saying we'll be back with more Doctor Who, the Christmas special next week. Man, we're almost at Christmas. We're getting close to Christmas. I wish we had, like, if I had timed this better, it would be at Christmas. But, anyway. So, this is Rob saying we'll be back next week with Doctor Who Christmas special. We just put up our newest Leftovers review. We've got Jedi Fallen Order gameplay walkthroughs. We've got comic book reviews from this week, X-Men books. Watchmen is on Sunday. His Dark Materials is on Monday with Batman the Animated Series. And I'm supposed to be reviewing Punisher Soviet #1 and Guardians of the Galaxy #11. It's the penultimate run for Donny Cates on that series. So, anyway, have a great night. I didn't love this episode. Hopefully you guys don't hate me too much for it, but we'll see you on the next one. Have a great night. Bye.